A trophic cascade is when a trophic level on a food chain, such as a primary producer or primary consumer, were to change in abundance, resulting in the other levels on that food chain also changing in abundance. So we're going to look at a marine and a terrestrial ecosystem to give you some examples as to what a trophic cascade is. So for the terrestrial ecosystem, we're going to look at Yellowstone National Park, which is definitely a great example. So before wolves were introduced into Yellowstone National Park, there was a high abundance of elk there, which caused a low abundance of grass there. So once wolves were introduced into Yellowstone, we then had a high abundance of wolves, which in turn caused the elk population to decrease, and it increased the grass population there. So this is a good example of a trophic cascade, because when one level increased, it caused a decrease and then the increase of another level. But if we were to decrease the amount of grass in Yellowstone National Park, then it would in turn also decrease the amount of elk, but also decrease the amount of wolves in Yellowstone. So that's just a good example of a trophic cascade. Now we're going to move and look at the marine ecosystem. So for our predator, we're going to be looking at the moray eel, and then the next trophic level is the parrotfish, and then the parrotfish that consume the algae on coral. And so if there's a high abundance of moray eels, then it would in turn cause a low abundance of parrotfish. But if the abundance of parrotfish are low, that means that the green algae is not being eaten off of the coral, so the green algae on coral then increases, and this just allows the algae to spread. So if we decrease the amount of predators, it can increase the amount of parrotfish, and if the parrotfish are increased, that means that all those parrotfish are then going to be eating a lot of the green algae, which decreases the abundance of green algae. But if we, for some reason, decided to increase the amount of parrotfish and increase the amount of moray eels and decrease the amount of parrotfish, then the amount of green algae would be increased. So in basic terms, trophic cascades can seem complicated, but they're pretty simple. It's just when one trophic level is either increased or decreased, then the other two trophic levels will in turn be increased or decreased. Thank you for watching.